I always trusted my instincts, but that day I ignored them. My boss told everyone to leave early. "Go home, you deserve it," he said with a smile that seemed too forced. Everyone grabbed their bags and walked out, chatting and laughing, but something in me didn't feel right. I stayed 10 minutes longer. I didn't know why. Maybe it was my curiosity, maybe it was a tiny voice in my head whispering, something about to happen. I was 25, working in a big company in New York, trying to prove myself, but I had no idea that 10 extra minutes would change everything. As the office emptied, the silence felt heavy. The lights hummed, the air conditioning made a soft whisper. I sat at my desk pretending to organize papers, but my mind was spinning. Then I heard a faint sound like a whisper from the next room. My heart skipped. "Who's there?" I called softly, hoping it was just my imagination. I walked towards the conference room. That's when I saw it, a folder on the table with my name written in sharp black letters. I froze. It wasn't normal for anyone to leave something for me like that, especially after hours. I reached out, hands trembling, and opened it. Inside were pictures of me from that very morning. Someone had been watching me. I wanted to scream, to run, but my curiosity rooted me to the spot. There were notes scribbled on the back of each photo, small, threatening messages, like "I see everything," and "Stay away from him." Him, that word made my stomach drop. I had a crush on one of my colleagues, Adam, someone I trusted. I never imagined that someone else could be watching me so closely. I felt violated, panicked, but also strangely aware that staying those extra 10 minutes had just saved me from walking into something worse. Before I could gather my thoughts, I heard the office door click. Footsteps, slow, heavy, my heart raced. I hid the folder in my bag and pretended to be busy. "Why are you still here?" a voice said. I turned, it was my boss, but his smile this time didn't reach his eyes. Something in his tone, something in the way he looked at me, sent chills down my spine. I was just finishing some work," I stammered. He nodded slowly, then said, "Be careful. Sometimes staying behind can be dangerous." And just like that he left, but the fear stayed. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the folder, about the photos, about Adam, about who could be behind this. The next morning I arrived early, hoping to find answers, but everything seemed normal. Adam greeted me with his usual smile, but I couldn't look at him without thinking of the notes and the word him. At my desk I found another folder slid under my keyboard. I opened it carefully, Maury pictures, Maury threats, and then a shocking twist. The last photo was of Adam, not me. He was talking to someone in the parking lot, someone I didn't recognize, and the note said, "He doesn't know you yet. Stay away if you value your life." I felt sick, betrayal, confusion. I trusted Adam, but now I couldn't tell if he was part of this or if he was the target. My hands shook as I dialed his number. "Hey," he answered cheerfully. "You okay? You seem off." "Adam, are you in danger?" I asked. There was a pause, then he said, "What are you talking about? Who gave you that folder?" I told him everything. He was silent. Then he said, "I didn't want to involve you, but there's someone following me. I thought I could handle it alone." I felt a mix of relief and anger. Relief because he wasn't the enemy, anger because he had lied to me, but there wasn't time to dwell. That day at lunch I saw someone watching us from across the street. Tall, dark coat, hat pulled low. The way they moved, always keeping us in view. Fear pushed me to confront Adam. "We need to go to the police." He shook his head. "Not yet, they're careful. They know I'm suspicious of them. But if we involve the police too soon, they'll disappear, or worse, they'll hurt you." I didn't know what to do. My 25-year-old self had never faced something like this. But I also knew one thing, staying behind in the office that day had saved me from stepping into a trap I didn't even understand. Later that evening I received a message from an unknown number. "Trust no one, he's not who he seems." I froze. Adam was right there beside me. Could it really be him? Or was someone manipulating both of us? The line between love and betrayal blurred. I realized this was bigger than I imagined, and the danger was closer than I thought. Days passed and the tension grew unbearable. Every time I left my apartment, every time I walked into the office, I felt eyes on me. But the real shock came one evening when I got home early. Adam was there, waiting. My heart leapt with relief. "I thought I told you to stay away," I yelled, the fear and frustration spilling out. He held up his hands. "Listen, I didn't want to scare you, but I've figured out who's behind this." I listened, tense, as he explained. It was my boss. The very person who had told everyone to leave early that day. He had been keeping track of Adam and me, jealous, obsessed, willing to manipulate, spy, and threaten anyone who got close. I felt my blood run cold. The man I trusted to guide me, to protect me, was the one causing all of this. Adam pulled me close. You were smart to stay 10 minutes longer that day. That's what gave us the edge. If you'd left like everyone else, I don't want to think about it. I realized then that those small decisions, those tiny moments of hesitation, could change everything. What had started as a normal workday had become a fight for safety, trust, and survival. We confronted my boss the next day with evidence, photos, messages, recordings. He tried to deny everything, but it all collapsed. Security escorted him out. I learned a lot that week, about trust, danger, love, and betrayal, about how staying a little longer, listening to that quiet voice inside me, had saved me from falling into a trap I couldn't have imagined. And though I was shaken, though the betrayal cut deep, I also knew I had grown stronger. I had survived. I had learned to trust myself first. Subscribe to Letters from Pain for more suspenseful stories.